Hi, welcome back to RLR Creations. I'm Claire, and today we have done the Gidi Diaper clutch by RLR Creations. This is a great little nappy clutch. We have a front zipper pocket, a back slip pocket, and when you open it up you have a mesh pocket here, you have another zipper pocket here. I managed to put my zips on the wrong way round. And we have a changing mat that clips onto it. I mean, how amazing is that? Now, it comes off to be washed. Now, I've used PUL, like the pattern says, calls for. I got mine in the UK. And I've used fleece on the back of mine. I haven't put any interfacing in it, but I remember from when I did my research on used cloth nappies that and reusable transit, fleece is quite commonly used as a barrier, water resistant barrier as well, but they can both be washed. So if you're using cotton, I would pre-wash your cotton in case it shrinks. That's about the only thing, but I've just said I've done fleece on the back of mine. It's a very thin mat, but 9 times out of 10 you're changing on a changing unit or something anyway. And I just thought I'd just show you my little doll that I used in the pattern to do the photos. This is Autumn. Say hello, Autumn. Hello. Yes, I am a little bit crazy, but I do love my dolls, and I made this one. So if you'd like to see how this bag's made and to please watch the video and like and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Bye. Right, so we're going to need our exterior A piece. Now I'm using fleece on mine, and I'm not going to put any interfacing on it, but what I am going to do to reinforce it, I'm going to put a thin strip. It's 3/4 of an inch wide, to reinforce the snaps, just to give it a little bit more to hold on to when you pull it. So you're going to need to measure down the instructions in the pattern, which I have already done. So I've measured here, drawn a line, and then I've measured in and done these. Going to need your cam snaps. Now, going to want to put a small hole through. Helps if my thing was still sharp and not bent on the end. Right. As I'm using fleece, I can just or not just push a hole through. Okay, as that didn't work, let's do it this way. I'm going to just line up this. Right, so one there, one there. Don't go through it, no. so I haven't used it on this sort of fabric before, but having just done that, I need to make sure I keep hold of it so that it doesn't pull out. Let's put our where's my one that hasn't got a bent end? Oh, well, I've got one that's got a bent end and one that doesn't want to stay attached. So, you know, it's one of those, going to be one of those days, guys. I've been battling dizziness for the last 3 weeks. Okay, let's try. I know what we can do. Let's measure this one to this one. As I said, you know, I haven't made this before. We are doing a first time. Right, now let's go through. Now I'm really lucky. I bought myself the green dye, but I bought the cam snap one a long time ago and bought myself the cam snap dyes to be able to put them on. So that makes my life a bit easier, but you can use the handheld because I have done that many times before. So we're putting on the female ones, which are the ones without the pointy bit in. And this extra little piece just helps to reinforce the snaps and give them a little bit more oh, you know what I've done? They're the wrong way round. Okay, so I've just taken those ones off. Now we want to make sure that when we pop them through, that the outside poppers, the poppers are actually on the right side of the fabric, because they're going to clip to the line, the B piece. So yeah, you don't want to put them on like I just did. You want them to come through this way. Right. See, I knew I shouldn't try and do anything. Let's hope that's the only silly mistake I make today. But what's the betting it's not going to be? Right. See, that's why you always need pliers and everything in your sewing kit, to take these things out when you put them in wrong. There we are. Right. So that's our 4 on the exterior piece A. We're going to want our exterior B piece. These were my wire cutters to help cut off the extra, help cut off the can snaps that I just left on there. Right, so now we're going to place our B piece right side up, and we are going to measure. I need a pen that will remove itself. I'm going to draw a line up, and then we're going to repeat the other steps. Make a hole. I think I'm going to just quickly add a little strip of Decaville light. Oh no, that might be all right actually, because it's got that, so no, we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. Now we're going to want to put ours this way now. Now I'm second guessing myself on everything. Yeah, because you're going to clip it in. Yeah. Oh, change out my die. So there's 2 dies, one for putting in the female snaps and one for putting in the male snaps. So now that's that done, we are going to go on to the next bits. We're going to need our 2 A pieces. Right, so you're going to want your 2 A pieces. Now we're going to want to put them right sides together. Now with my PUL, I have a shiny side and a non-shiny side. So if my memory serves me correctly, the non-shiny side is the bit I want on the inside, so that it stops any moisture from coming onto the baby, and it's also a little bit feels nicer. Didn't do a very good job of cutting one of those out. Spread it. And we'll grab our clips, and I'm going to clip that all together. together. I'm going to turn that over because somehow I've managed to, well and truly, these can be a little bit of a funny one to work with because it can get a bit staticky. So see, that's not so bad now. Clip it. Moving all over the place. Doesn't. Right, I'm going to need to make sure we leave a turning up the top here. Turning up here, so we're going to take it to the machine. I'm going to stitch it with the seam allowance in the pattern all the way down, all the way round, back up the other side. stop at the end. So I'm going to trim the seam allowance down now. I like to use so now we're going to trim the seam allowance down. I'm using pinking shears because I like to use pinking shears, but if you haven't got pinking shears, then what you can do is when you've cut down your seam, just put some little snips to help ease it round the corner. But as I have pinking shears, we can cut round, and it has the same does the same thing as using clips. It just saves you having to clip them around the corners, and by clipping around the corners you're just reducing the bulk, so when you turn it round the right way you have a nice smooth, you don't have as much fabric to fold into the corners. So if you look now, you've got quite a lot of fabric, but if you cut it, suddenly you've not got anywhere near as much fabric or bulk to turn it round when you go to turn it round. And I know people say, well, why do a bigger seam allowance and then cut it down? But if you do a bigger seam allowance, it then allows you, gives you a little bit more wiggle room with, you've got layers that aren't playing, to be able to get it all in. Now I'm only going to go to where I started stitching. Now we're going to turn that in the right way. There's my little pokey thing. Spend a bit of time just working the seams out. Because you left a bit more, you didn't cut it thin when you did that, you've got actually folds over to turn nicely for you. Just take that to the iron and give it a very slight press underneath a Teflon sheet, just to help get it all to lie flat, and I'll be back. Right, so now we're going to top stitch. The popper. I am using a Teflon foot, and I have also lifted up the pressure on here. I don't know if it makes any difference with the pressure, but I'm just letting the machine feed itself through. And there you go. There is your mat. Now finished. How cute is that? Right, on to the next step now. Right, so you're going to need your exterior zipper and your zipper tabs. Now I do mine slightly different to the way Rachel does hers. I still fold over the same, but I do the same on the other side so that they are matching. And then as my lighter, I melt the end of my zip, pop this on. Right, so the pattern is made for number 3 zips. I don't possess any number 3 zips, I've only got number 5s. So I will need to take a slightly bigger seam allowance when I go to sew these together, so this doesn't quite fit on, but that's fine. As I said, this is the first time I'm making this one, so you're learning as I'm learning. Fold the tabs in half with the front lines over. I've marked where the zipper tape has to finish to be the correct length. Just bar tack that. Stop it from coming undone. And I'm going to just cut just past there. And then when I pop that on, we'll double check it's the length that's required. If not, we can move it on a bit more. But the reason you have zipper tabs is it takes the zip out of the seam allowance. That is the biggest thing with a zipper tab, is it takes the zip out of the seam allowance so you can get a smoother finish. So that's the length, the finished length it should be. I'm just going to stitch those on. And by having bar tack, that means that the bit keeps together anyway. Right. So now, as I said, we will have to take a slightly bigger seam allowance than stated for sewing on the other pieces, because I've got a number 5 zip. So let's go on to the next step. Right, so you also need to do that for your lining, which is exactly the same as the one I've just done. So we're going to need our J pieces. I'm going to place those right sides together, and then we're going to stitch across the top using the seam allowance in the pattern with our construction length stitch. And then we're going to turn it over, right sides together. Oh, hold on. Right. Also going to go along the bottom. So we're making a tube. Now we're going to turn that in the right way, and we're going to stitch that. We're going to iron that and then top stitch the top of it. I'll just go and iron that and I'll be back. Right, I've forgotten to top stitch. I'll do that in a minute. I've just changed my cotton out to the webbing colour. Now, as I'm doing webbing, I've waited to do it till now. I'm just going to add my clip, so I've pulled a small amount through like it says on the instructions, and just going to stitch those together. I'm not sure whether I'm going to stitch that down completely or make it so it can be moved. I will decide in a bit. So we're going to need our J piece. We're going to place that and fold the pocket in half. Right sides up. I'm going to measure up distance in the pattern. And then we are going to fold our connector in half. And we're going to align the bottom long right, so I'm going to go, where's my half gone? My line disappeared. So we pretty much say it's there. So with our middle of this, with our connectors right side up, we're going to place it onto there. And then we are going to measure in the distance required in the pattern. And we are now going to stitch down there. We're going to stitch within this box. Oh, the needle's come unthread. Oh no, you're going to be one of those days. And I changed the cotton to one that's nearer the vinyl, the webbing, so that you don't see it so much. That's just the chalk on the end, you can see there. Right. So now I'm going to change back to my white thread, and I am just going to top stitch, which will be this bit now. Right, so thread's changed. I'm just going to top stitch along here now. And that's now that one done. Now let's go on to the next step. Right, so then you're going to want your external B piece, which you are going to measure down the distance in the pattern from the top to the bid to inside, and then you're going to cut it. And then you're going to pop those to one side for a minute, and we'll do the next step. Right, so we're going to need our bottom bit of the A we just cut. We're going to want our pocket that we've just done, and we want to draw up the amount given in the pattern from the bottom. Now we're going to place this along the bottom. And then we're going to take it going to take it to the machine. And we are going to stitch it in place, making sure that our buckles are out of the way. Construction length stitch. Now I'm going to pop that to one side for now. Got our pocket. Pop that to one side and do the next step. Right, so now we're going to want to place our E-piece right side up. We're going to place our bit we've just done right side up, so that when we make the pocket, you zip it, you can see the insides. And because I messed up my zip and didn't use a number 3, I'm going to try and do it using the seam allowance, well, not quite, but it's not too much of a problem because I've got, it's an inside pocket. So now we're going to want our B piece, and we are going to want to put that on top of here, wrong side down. So again, I'm lining up with my tape, my tabs opposed to my tape, and now we're going to stitch across that with the seam allowance in the pattern. I'm going to have a little bit of mine sticking out. Coming up to the zip, move the zip back out the way. We've done that. Right, so now we've done that, we're going to turn our piece over. We're going to bring this piece down, and then we're going to bring this piece down. I'm going to smooth it out. We're going to clip it. Mine are slightly different lengths because I do the pockets all the same size. Now you can see we've brought it down towards the flap. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to baste the edges in around the outside, and then we're just going to cut the excess off. Supposed to top stitch on one of them. Right, so now we're going to cut off the excess. Now we're going to top stitch across here. We probably should have top stitched across here earlier, but I didn't read it or I missed it, because you know that would be me. So if you are watching the video, top stitch your bottom bit before you do all the bits I've just done. Because if I top stitch that now, we're not going to be in the pocket. You're not going to be able to get into it. So learn by my mistakes, people. Right, so that's now finished. So we're going to want our lining B piece. Right, so now we're going to want our lining B piece. What we're going to do is we're going to cut it. I'm going to take the width in the instructions down, and then I'm going to just cut across, so you then have two pieces. We're going to pop the top piece to one side for now, and we're going to take our bottom piece with the snaps on, and we're going to want our pieces of elastic. Now we are going to need to do some marking up. So I'm going to use an air erasable pen, hopefully. So we're going to go up, literally just, that one's not working. That's so rare erasable, it's already erased. And then we're going to want to go in it's a little bit difficult because your snaps are in the way, and again and again. Right, now I've got to work before they erase. So we are going to take our elastic, we're going to take your first piece and you're going to fold over the amount stated in the pattern, and you are going to put it into the corner. It's disappearing, it's just disappearing too quickly. It doesn't look very straight, does it? So we're going to fold over the amount in the pattern, and on that line we're going to stitch go backwards and forwards a few times. And now we're going to fold the other bit along by the same amount, and we're going to fold it and place it on the bottom line. Again, stitch it down, starting a stop and back stitch, and then just a little further up as well. So you end up with a gap because you're going to be putting your baby wipes through there. Again, fold over the amount in the pattern, add it to the corner, and again. And then again. It. That's that bit done. So now we are going to want our so you're going to need your bottom bit you've just done, your lining zipper, and one of your E pieces. You're going to place your zip on the corners again, bearing in mind I've used the wrong size zip, so I'm not measuring up my zip tape. Failed at. Which I failed at there. Let's just unpick that. Right, so I've done that one. So now I'm going to put my, I just undid it and we did the little tiny bit of it. Now I'm going to place my E piece, or whatever bit it says in the pattern. And I'm going to stitch that, but I'm going to follow the lines. Although this one's not so much of a problem because it's an inside pocket. I will just place it on and then sew following the seam allowance we did last time. done. Now we do top stitch this one. Take our second D piece. I'm going to line that up. I'm not too worried about it being bigger because it's a pocket inside. The main one you've got to worry about is the top one. That's the one that will be seen. Tap that in place. Now we're going to want to take our top piece, B piece. I'm going to want to place that right side down. So we've got a sandwich, we've got the right sides together. And with this one we do want to make sure we have on our zipper tabs. Coming up to the zipper pull. Always worth moving it out of the way when you've got a decent amount done. Right, so we don't want to top stitch yet. We want to turn wrong side up, pull the zipper down and align the bottom raw edge with the bottom straight edge. Pull the zipper pocket down and bottom raw You want to make sure your your pocket comes towards the bottom. Right, so we're going to stitch along the bottom. Now again, mine's the same length because I cut my D and my E the same size, so I don't have to worry about getting them muddled up. I'll just cut the extra off. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Now we're going to sew that with the seam allowance pattern. I'm just going to put it down. Then we're going to want to top stitch along here, making sure that the zip is up that way. the sides, only the sides. Right, so now that's that bit done. We're getting there. You want to take your H piece and your mesh, and you want to fold over the corners, both short ends, the amount in the pattern. Then you want to fold it in half, and then you want to bring each side to the middle and fold it so you end up with the size stated in the pattern. And then what you're going to do is, taking your mesh piece, you are going to add this to the folded line. So you've got two pieces of mesh, you've actually cut the mesh, so you've got the fold here, and then you've got a raw edge here. So what we're doing is we are clipping this here, so we are encasing the raw edge. We're encasing the raw edge. I'm going to take that to the machine. I'm going to stitch that down. The amount in the seam allowance, sorry, construction length stitch even. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to put in, it says in the pattern, a cam snap. So I'm going to find the middle. I'm going to pop a little dot in, and then off screen I'm going to add the cam snap, as you've already seen me do it twice. Actually, before I put the cam snap in, I placed this down on actually if I do it this way, then my zip still opens. I don't know, I think I managed to put the zip in the wrong way around, but hey, yeah, because that's the bottom. So whichever way round I do it, I've put the zip in wrong. Never mind. Worst things happen at sea. Right, so I'm going to clip that along there. I'm going to start here. I'm going to come all the way around. I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to work up, because then if it does move, it's not going to end up coming off the end. sure the back stitched quite a lot over there. I think I'm going to go along again with a smaller stitch length. Whoa, because I had quite a big one then. How much of that didn't you sew that time? None of it. Right, so now I'm going to go and put the cam snap on. So I put the cam snap on in exactly the same way as I did the others. I just used my little tool and went straight through both layers so that it lines up and it can be pulled off. I could have gone with going that way a bit more, but hey. Right, so now we're on to the next step. So we want the piece we've just done, and we want our D-ring, and I think it's K piece. So I've just swapped back to the blue thread. So I'm just going to stitch across there to hold the D-ring in place. And then I'm going to take it. I put my zip up the wrong way. Oh well. I'll stick this, pop this up here, and stick, just baste it into place. And now that's that bit finished, and we'll go on to the next step. Right, so now we've got both finished pieces. We're going to put them right sides together. So we're going to line up corners. Start on all the corners. Now we're just going to pin it all the way round. Making sure all your ends match up. Making sure that we bring the edges together. We want to leave a gap up here for turning. So we're going to take that to the machine and we're going to stitch that with the seam allowance in the pattern. Okay, so going to take it to the machine and stitch it. Just be aware that this causes a bit of a bulk here, so you need to make sure you pull all the ends together. And remembering to start start and stop on your back stitch. Coming up to that was the vinyl, no, the webbing. A zip in the way. Using that, let's move out of the way. That's it. Go back to our seam allowance. Coming back up to the cam snaps. Right. So now we're going to trim the seam allowances and turn it. So using my pinking shears again, I'm only going to trim down where we've actually sewn. I'm leaving this bit because it makes it easier to get a seam allowance to turn. This is quite a few layers here. Difficult. So make sure you reduce the bulk in the corners so you get a nice smooth corner. Ooh, a bit close there. Right, I'm only going to go up to my vinyl, my webbing, because I don't really want to cut that down. Now the moment of truth, turning it in the right way. old chopstick, pointy thing, but it is only a chopstick. Right. So now I'm going to take that to the iron, give it a press. And then we will be back to top stitch. Okay, so now we're going to just top stitch it. There's some rather thick bits. The cam snaps there, so it's a little bit tight. Okay, so that's now your top bit done. Now your mat, if you've done it right, fingers crossed, Claire. No! How have I managed not to do that? One of my measurements are slightly out by the looks of it. Right, so fold in, up, 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 up. And there you have your finished Gidi Diaper clutch. I really like it. And I've managed to put the zip on the wrong way on all of it. Both of them. It's a left-handed bag. I need to find somebody who's left-handed. And then I've made all the bag zipper pockets suitable for a left-handed person. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed the video.